yeah.
Whereabouts in Jamaica?
Westmoreland.
Westmoreland. Is that a nice area?
Oh, it is.
What does it look like? Is it like
Oh, it's flat and produce a lot of it's flat and it's produce a lot of sugar cane and things like that. That's where the biggest sugar cane estate is in Jamaica.
Oh, right.
Westmoreland, yeah.
Yeah. So did you eat a lot of that as you were growing up?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yeah, plenty.
Oh, right. How many children were there in your family?
14,
14?
yeah.
Okay, so it's a big family.
9 girls and 5 boys.
And where were you?
Oh, third from last,
Third from last?
yeah.
Were you a close family?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, tell me about your parents.
Oh, they were. Oh, what do you want to know about them? They were
What they were
farm.
like?
Oh, they were nice people. My father was a farmer, and my mother was just a housewife. She didn't work out; she was just a housewife, you know. Yeah,
So your father was a farmer.
farmer. Yeah.
What kind of things was he growing there?
Well, in Jamaica, you don't grow one thing; they grow every little thing, you know.
Yeah.
They grow cane, sugar cane. They grow things like yam, banana, peas, corn, what they call maize over here. Oh yeah, just not for market, just for most of it for family use.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, everybody kind of grow their own stuff in Jamaica for the family. Yeah, yeah.
So did you help out a lot doing
Oh
that?
yeah. Oh, you got to work.
You got to.
You got to work. There was no question about that. You got to work, and everybody raised their own pigs and goats and chicken, and who can afford cows had their own cows and things. It's not like England where they had farm. You know, everybody farmed their own little things. Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you get on with your brothers and sisters?
Oh, lovely.
No fights?
Oh, well, you got to respect that sometime, eh?
Yeah.
But it was a strict family. There was a lot of discipline. Our days, not like now. It was all discipline. Yeah, you couldn't speak to your big sister like how people speak now. We got to say big sister or something like that. You couldn't just say like my big sister now name Kathleen or something like that. I couldn't just call her by her name like that. I got to call her big sister. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a lot of different from what things is now.
Yeah.
Lot of discipline you got to obey her, you know. Yeah. It was tough, but it was good for us those days. Strict, but to what I see going on now, it was good days. I call it the good old days. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So was there a lot of physical discipline?
Oh yeah. Well, if you do what your parents say you do, you don't get any caning. But when you're out of line, you got that's coming. When you walk out of line and when you do things that is wrong, you got that coming. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. But as I said, it was good. You know, because it keep us out of trouble. You couldn't get involved in like what young men get involved now. We couldn't get involved in things like that. It was out of the question altogether. It's surprising me to see what life is like now. Not in England alone, over the whole world.
In what ways?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of changes in it. Oh, you can't spank your kids again. You couldn't do anything, you know what I mean? A lot of things, a lot of changes. I mean, you have young men now, not even 28, killing police and things like that. When we were lads, if we see a policeman, we got to go and hide. You know, the discipline, you couldn't answer back. Even if you don't, you ain't got to be family or somebody in the family. You got to respect the older head, like don't matter who they are. They ain't got to be a part of the family. They could be anybody. It could be a stranger and you misbehave.
Yeah.
He would put you in your place there and then, yeah. Like I live in Wolverhampton, and if I went as far as Birmingham from home in Jamaica and I see an old man or old lady, I got to still respect. I couldn't do anything out of that, because although she doesn't know my mother nor my father, she would still put me in my place. You know what I mean? No, that's wrong for you to do that because she's a ladder. So yeah. You couldn't do that now, couldn't you? Nah.
Do you think children in this day and age would be better off if they had the same kind of discipline as you did when you were a child?
Well, as for me, I believe that. A lot of people wouldn't believe. I don't think my children they believe that now, but I believe that. Yeah, maybe you wouldn't have that amount of trouble, eh? I mean, well, as I said, things change a lot. Life is far away different now. But you can still bring up good kids today without physical thing if you start them right when they're small. Start them very early. You can still have good kids.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking everybody, but you can still have good kids. But you got to be strong, and you got to lay what you want down, you know. Oh yeah.
Did you have a religious upbringing?
Oh yeah. That is a must. If you're sick until you can't get up, you got to go to Sunday school on Sunday morning. You couldn't miss Sunday school for no purpose. You know if or but about that. You got to be in Sunday school on Sunday morning. Yeah. Very strict religious upbringing. Yeah.
Which denomination were you?
Moravian.
Sorry?
Moravian. Moravian Church.
Moravian.
That's.
Don't think I've heard of that one.
It didn't. That was a German church, and it was an English church. But when I come here, it died out. All our ministers them days was Englishmen. All the bishop and all they come from England to Jamaica. I was confirmed 1958, and it was a minister from Sheffield come to Jamaica to do it. Oh yeah.
Do you think a religious upbringing is important for children?
I think it's a must. I don't think it's important. I think it should be a must. Yeah. You would have better children as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Why would that be?
Well, it's been laid down in the good book, the Bible, about bringing up children the way they should grow up, innit? So, and I was brought up like that, and I brought up my kids like that, and I would like my kids to bring up their kids going on in the generation with a religious upbringing, because it helps. Some people don't believe that, but I tell you, it's help a lot. It's help, because you got to believe that there is a God, and you have a fear of something. When people grow up without believing in these things, they don't have fear of nothing. That's why you have so much trouble today. If you go back and read the history of England, everybody used to go to Sunday school and go to church over here. Now they're knocking down all the churches and making up different and turn them into clubs and pubs, and that's what making most of the trouble, according to my understanding. Yeah. Because when people used to go to church and behave themselves, things was better. Yeah. So I firmly believe in a religious upbringing.
Was there a lot of religion in schools in your day?
Well, you got to have your you start the morning with morning prayer, and you got to do one couple hours in a day, in a week. You got to do some religious education. Yeah. They take it out the school now, innit? almost religious education gone out of school now. Oh, well. But I think it's essential for them to have that in the school, religious education, yeah.
What about the teachers in Jamaica? What were they like? Or in your school?
Well, the teachers was like the parents. The teachers were like the parents. If you misbehave in school, you get the caning. Or you could get 3 or 4 caning a day less if you don't be. Oh, it was tough. Yeah, you got, in our days in school, you must either learn or be caned. That's what the principle, yeah. You got to learn. You got to learn, yeah. If you don't learn, you got something coming. It was tough compared to now. Yeah. And when the teacher cane you couldn't go home and report it to your mom, because if you report it to your parents, they cane you again because they said the teacher wouldn't just cane you for something, for nothing. That's
you get it twice.
Yeah. So if you complain, if you go home and complain, you got it twice. So when you go home, you better keep your mouth shut. That's it.
What things did you enjoy in school?
Oh, what things did I enjoy in school? Well, you got to say, I enjoy all the lessons, because it's not over here like, it's not like how in this country, how the education go. The one teacher teaches almost everything. Yeah. You know, the same teacher that take you for maths in the morning, he take you for science in the afternoon, and he was master for everything. Over here, you had one teacher for maths and one for the different subjects. But in Jamaica, the same teacher teach you. Not in the lower division. When you open the higher division, the same teacher teach you all the subjects. Yeah.
You think that's a good thing?
Well, I think it is, but they wouldn't do it now. I think those days the teacher had too much work to do. So that was the reason why you got to either learn or bust. You got to either learn, because he's not going to waste his time and you teaching you all these subjects if you're not going to take them in, That's it.
Was that so you could have good employment prospects as you grew older?
Oh, yeah. They teach you everything that you got a good... And when the motto in school those days, when you finish your school, the teacher always tell you, he send you out into the world not as fool, but as wise. Because he spend all his time teaching you, and you must go out into the world now, and you must you must carry on with the things that he teaches you. He's not sending you out as a fool. You must be able to look after yourself when you get out there.
So what were your plans for when you were older?
When I was older, well, I did really want to be I did have a couple of trades that I would like to do. I did like mechanic, and I did like one time I did want to be a cricketer, but I couldn't make it. Yeah, but I did like mechanic and driving. Yeah. But the parents couldn't afford to send you to the mechanic place to get trained. You know what I mean?
So what happened?
So I got to start. When I left school, I got to start working for myself. I go out in working for myself. Doing well, the only work was that again back in the day, farming business. Grow crops like peas, what they call over here French bean. You grow things like cabbage and tomato, a lot of vegetable, because that's those were early crops. They didn't take as long to come in, some of them were 3 months crop and 6 months, and some 2 months, Good things that they could make make a bit of money out quick. And then I do that until when I was 21.
Yeah.
I leave to America and farm working. Yeah.
So why did you go to America?
Well, get some more money. I mean, if I go to America, if I get a chance and go to America and work on the farm over there, I would get, instead of having my own farm, I would work on the farm and get money, and I would be able to help my family back home. Yeah. And that's what I did from I was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I worked in America for about 5 years. Been there 3 times. I worked in there for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until oh yeah. When did I went to? I went to America when I was 20. I worked in America till about 5 years, till I was 25. Then I go back home to Jamaica. Those were kind of contracts.
Yeah.
When the contract up, you got to return home. Then I go back to Jamaica when I was 25, when I get married. Settle down again and start to do some work again and start to work again and get married, and I have one daughter and working again. And I don't know, but one day something happened. I just said, well, I'm packing up and going to. Everybody was coming to England, so I said, I'll take my chances and come then. Yeah. So I come here 1960.
1960.
Yeah. I come here 1960 when I was 28. Yeah.
So what did you think England would be like?
Oh God, I wouldn't like to go on that. I think it was a great thinking. I mean, what we learn about England in school, you know what I mean? Because all our lesson in school was about England and the mother country and things like that, and because we were British subjects. Yeah. So I never expected it to be something like this. When I come here, I nearly have a heart attack. Oh, it was terrible just coming here, you know. Because it was nothing like what you read about and what you see in the book and the pictures that you see in the book, them, and you know, like.
What did the pictures look like, actually?
Oh, they were lovely. They were like gold. They were like, when you look at all the Statue of London with all these great men that passed, and you know, Oliver Cromwell and all these great men we learn about in school, and when you see the picture of them in the book, it was like. It was like something to eat. It was like gold.
Yeah.
But when you come here and go down to Chapalowski and see all the statue, how the black and the pigeon and them, you couldn't believe. I couldn't believe it. That was another thing that struck me most when I come here. Yeah. You know, all these steps, these staircases, you see them in the book, it looked like they were made out of gold. And when you come, they were just concrete and they were rough, and it hit me hard.
So you're quite disappointed?
When I get here, yeah. And the houses.
Yeah.
I thought every house was a factory then, because I see some work coming up out of all the houses. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That did give me a bit of surprise too. Yeah.
So where did you go to first when you came here?
I come to Wolverhampton.
Straight to Wolverhampton.
Straight to Wolverhampton, yeah.
Did you know anybody here?
A friend that did come up from Jamaica before me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what about accommodation? Where did you live when you first came?
Oh, accommodation wasn't as bad as those that come earlier. Because some of these two are here that come earlier. I come 60.
Yeah.
I come here 1960 October. It wasn't as bad. When I come here first, I lived at Alcien's Road.
Yeah.
There was a chap there at home, and I lived there. Oh, we still see them every now and again, still around town. Yeah. But it wasn't as bad as the bloke that come earlier. Because there was a lot of Jamaican that have their own home then.
Yeah.
And you could get a room.
Okay.
Yeah.
So So you lived with other Jamaicans?
You live with other Jamaicans, just in rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long before you got your own house?
Oh, it was a long time. I didn't get a good job to start. When I come here, I couldn't understand the wages I was working. Because when I get here in 1960, I didn't get any job until 1970, February. I was here from October and I never get a job until February. And it was what was I working? I was working about £6 a week, 50 hours a week. 50 hours a week for £6. Oh God, the money nearly I couldn't understand the money. The money was too small then.
Yeah.
£6 for all those hours. And I got to send money to Jamaica now for the wife and the kid. Yeah.
Oh, so you came over by yourself?
I come over by myself, yeah. I come over 60. Oh yeah. Well, I didn't know what I was going to come into or what so I couldn't bring the wife and the kid with me. I got to come and see what happened first. Well, I didn't come to stay neither.
Yeah.
I come to go back, but as many will tell you, they never make it back. I didn't come to stay. Because I did have my home in Jamaica and I have my wife out there and I tell her I would come back. But when you come to England, it's just like, to start with, it was too far from Jamaica. Yeah. If it was America or somewhere around here, then I would be back. But it just looked too far from here to go back home after. And you expect to accumulate some money, which you couldn't. Because you get the money and it was small, you got to send a part to Jamaica. You got to pay your keep over here. So the money was just, you couldn't accumulate the money, you got to spend, so you get it, you got to use it.
Oh, where were you first working?
Oh, I work at Villiers Engineering and Master Wood. That not there again.
How was it working there? What was it like?
Oh, it was just I had no job, it was. Well, I was one of the lucky ones. When I come here, I get the job, I work and I get a job, a machine operating job. Yeah. But most of all the job them days was labor job and things like that. And I worked there for 7.5 years. And I was made redundancy. And I get a job at the beans industry in Tipton. And I worked there for 12.5 years and took sick then. Yeah.
So what were the English people like towards you?
Well, it was like, well, everywhere you go, you got problem, yeah. But when I come here, it wasn't as bad as what I hear the bloke that speak before. Them that come in the 50s.
Yeah.
I think they did have a rougher time than us that come in the 60s. But when I come here, it was a bit rash and things, and people give you a bad look, and some people smile with you, and some people, everywhere you go, there's a mixture of things. Yeah, some of the people was nice, and some give you bad looks, and you have most of the problem in the pubs. In the pubs, yeah.
What used to happen there?
Well, well, drinking is not a good thing. So when people started drinking in the pub, they used to have a lot of problem. You get a lot of harassment in some of the pubs. Some of the pubs, not all the pubs, yeah. There was some pubs, even in town here, they wouldn't serve you drink in certain part of the pub. Yeah. But apart from that, and then, well, a lot of the people said they had trouble with churches, but I didn't have any. Because when I come here, as I tell you, I was brought up with a strict religious background. When I come here, I couldn't find no Moravian church, the one that I live in Jamaica. They tell me there was only one they could think about here, and it was in far from here. And the nearest thing I could find to Moravian Church was Methodist. And I started to go to Methodist Church, Darlington Street Methodist Church, yeah.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
And that was mostly white people.
That was mostly white people, but I didn't have no problem. I was accepted there, and I've been there for, that time I was living at All Saints Road. And I've been there for about 4 or 5 years. And I moved to live up at Birches Barn Road, just right up here.
Yeah.
And the minister told me that there was another Methodist church just by me. So if I want to, I could come to this one instead of going all the way back to Darlington Street. And then I stop in this church up here. Until 1970. Yeah. And 1970 I get converted in the Pentecostal church and live up there, yeah.
Were your wife and family with you then?
Oh yes. Well, when I come here then, I come the October and the wife come up the other July. And I come up 60 October and the wife comes 61 July. Yeah.
When you started going to this Methodist church or whichever churches you were going to, were they were mostly whites?
They were, it was mostly white.
Is it still mostly white now?
Oh no.
No.
When I come up to this one of the minister, it was only two family that come there that was black. The rest was white. It was only 2 black family when I go up there, and that was a gentleman they call Mr. Plummer. He died now. He used to cut here down Zar Street, yeah. And then after that, a few black people come in.
So what happened to the white families in the churches?
No, well, not really. They were all right. I never had no problem in the churches with the white people. No, never. Not from Darlington Street to Bedminster Methodist Church. I never had no problem with the white people. Well, I just go to church, worship, and go home, so I didn't have any problem. Some people that come earlier said they had problem. I couldn't say have any. There was a nice minister man at the Bedminster Methodist Church. What was he? John Bishop. And he always tell me if I had any problem, I should come to him. He always tell me if I had any problem or any paperwork or anything, I should come and see him. But I didn't have any problem, so I didn't have any problem with churches when I get here now.
Okay. And your neighbours were all right? You got on well with your neighbours?
Oh yeah, I never had no problem with neighbours. No.
So how many children do you have?
5.
5.
4 girls and 1 lad.
Was family life hard, bringing them up in this country?
Oh yes, very tough. Very tough. Bringing them up with the kind of money we were getting them days, yeah. But they still go up here and all right now.
Are there any particularly hard times that stand out in your memory?
Oh well, yeah. When I was having it, when I here and having the kids, when the wife come up and having the kids, those were tough days because she didn't work. No, she was at home looking after the kids, and well, I would not allow her to go to work because I didn't like the idea of she going out to work and leave the kids them out. You know what I mean? So life was tough. It was hard. It was hard. The little money that I get them days, paying so I got to pay rent and I got to, because I didn't have my own home, I got to pay rent and I got to provide food and clothes, and it was hard. Bringing up the kids was very, very hard those days, yeah. But thank God I get over it, and they are doing fine now.
Was there a particular reason why you didn't want your wife to work?
Yeah, I didn't like the idea of leaving out the kids. I didn't like the idea of leaving out the kids for somebody to look after them, you know.
Do you know why you felt that way?
Huh?
Felt so strongly about that?
Well, I don't know, but I didn't feel like they should be left. I didn't like the idea of seeing the kids going out in the morning. A lot of mothers got to take the kids out in the cold and leave them out. And I didn't like the idea. Just me, I didn't like the idea. Because some of these, them days was rough days. Some of the homes that the kids were going into were homes where they have all party, and those days there was a lot of music and drinking and swearing and you know what I mean. So I just didn't like the idea. And then she didn't go to work. I said, and that was one of the reasons why I have it so hard. Yeah. And then I have those 3 kids now, and I had 3 girls, and it just like something wasn't right. As soon as she sent out them 3 girls to school, the 3 of them going to school now. The last one was 7 when she got to school, and she go out and get a job now because it was only 2 hours. Then she expect another baby, now, and start a family after 7 years again, yeah? And then she had a boy and a girl after 7 years, and that was one of the things that really hampered us again. As soon as she could go out to work, she have another she expect baby again and have 2. Yeah, and then by the time she bring up those 2 now, there was much when she finished bring up those 2 when they go to school, she had a little part-time job at the Midland area, and that didn't last for, I think that only last for about a year and 6 months or 2 years, yeah. So life was tough for me when I get here.
But did your wife agree that she should stay at home to look after the children?
How did that go now? Well, it's not that. Well, it was the 2 of us that planned that, because I couldn't have done it on my own. And both of us didn't like the idea of leaving out the kids.
Okay.
Both of us didn't like the idea.
So did you have much leisure time? Did you do much things together as a family?
No, apart from watching television and things, because I got to go to work every day. Sometimes I got to go to work on Sundays. There was not much leisure time those days. No. Apart from like Christmas, we play games in the home, and you know what I mean. Christmas is Christmas, but apart from, and like when we get like the summer holiday come up, we take the kids to the park and things like that. We couldn't afford to go on holiday like people go on holiday now, so we used to take the kids to the park and take them out. Have family in Nottingham. We always go to Nottingham very often. Almost every weekend, visit the family. We go to Sheffield, visit the family down there. And that was the most enjoyment we have, going from one place to the other, meeting the family, you know, have a chat, have a drink, and talk about all the time. Yeah.
So would you say you were close to your children?
Oh, very close. Up to, until now. Oh, they all grow up now, but until now, yeah. Because that's almost every weekend there's someone turn up.
So your other family members, who's in? Did you say Sheffield, Nottingham?
Oh yeah,
Who lives there?
the wife had family in Sheffield and in Nottingham. So we always visit those two places that she could get to visit her family, you know, because I only had one brother here and he was in London. So we hardly go down London, but I always take the wife, almost every weekend, we take the wife down to Nottingham or Sheffield that she could visit her family, you know. And we could stop over, we could on sometime on Friday night and we could stop over until Sunday evening, we come back here. Yeah. Because we didn't have any family in Wolverhampton.
Do you see any similarities in the way that you were brought up and how you brought your children up?
Yeah. Apart from the strict way we got brought up in Jamaica and everything, and the caning and the thing and that, I couldn't remember having to beat one of my kids. I think I could only remember I beat one of my girls once, and only the one time. But similarity, like strict brought up. I tried as hard as I could to bring them up in this country, like how I was brought up in Jamaica. Put the caning aside. I couldn't cane them here like that, but. There was a lot of similarity, yeah. Because I didn't, now that they grow up, I didn't allow them to go out at nights and things like that, you know. I didn't allow them to go out at night. They got to go to Sunday school every morning. They got to go to school every day. They couldn't, what the word they got now? Kids stopping off from school, they couldn't do that. No, true. Yeah, they got to go to school. I didn't have no problem with that anyway. Yeah. What your bringing was strict. Sometimes they remind me about it. Oh yeah. Oh, I had a daughter in Nottingham. She always come and tell me, Daddy, remember you always tell me do this and do that and do this. Oh, she's always, every time she comes, she going to me about something that I always tell her that don't do and do and don't do. Yeah. But I don't regret anything apart from, as I said, I've been sick so long, and that's all my plan off course. Because I didn't want to return back to Jamaica, but I got to count that out now. This September is what, 20. This September coming will be 22 years I didn't work in this country. So I didn't have any much hope of having any plan to anything much. Because if you don't work in this country, you can't make your way if you don't work in this country.
What other plans did you have?
Well, I didn't have any big plans, you know. I just have plans. I did want to return home one day. And I don't know. That kind of gone out the window now. But apart from that, I really don't have any plan now. Just want to get along now as simple as life can be. And well, my plan was, I did try to, I had a plan was to educate all my kids. Yeah. And so far God helped me and I've done well. And one thing I'm proud of, Nakan who that don't talk too early, they don't let me down. You know? They've been good kids. I try hard with them, but sometimes when I sit down and look, now I got to smile, I got to give a laugh, you know? Yeah. Because they don't let me down. And they hold their head up and they try hard. And I'm very proud of that. Yeah. I don't tell them, but they make me feel good sometimes. Yeah. My last daughter getting married in a couple of weeks' time.
How old is she?
27.
27. Where's she getting married? In Wolverhampton?
In Wolverhampton. At that same church I tell you, the minister.
Are all your children married?
Only the lad, when this girl get married now, the lad don't married yet. All my girls are married yet. This will be the last girl out of the 4 to get married.
Yeah. Do you have any grandchildren?
Oh yes, 6.
6.
Yeah.
Do you see them a lot?
Oh yeah. One in Nottingham, one in Burton and Trent, and the other 4 in Wolverhampton. I had my eldest daughter, that the one that born in Jamaica, she's a sister at New Cross. She had 3 girls. And the second girl is a sister at Burton and Trent Hospital. Yeah. The third one teaches in Nottingham. The lad teaches in Nottingham as well. And the one that went to get married, she's doing the job now that you hear about, that job that Lisa Pat was doing with them. That's what she's doing now. She get that job after when she leave it. Yeah. So they're all right.
You were talking earlier about you had back problems, you had to retire.
Yeah. I had that 1971, 1976, yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, I just got to work, and I got to work the morning and we were doing some heavy job, but it wasn't the job that caused it. I bent down and tackle some work up, and we have to lift it up with the crane, and I couldn't get up. I just couldn't get up. They got to get in nurse and get a car and send me to hospital. From there, I leave straight from working to the doctor. When I got to the doctor, they sent me to the hospital for some X-ray, and I never come out. And well, I thought it was something to do with the work, but when the X-ray come out, it was arthritis in my spine, because I didn't lift the load in the morning, and the doctor tell me that he never see arthritis affect anybody as much as it affect me. Yeah. And I was in hospital for about 3 weeks, and they try everything. They put me in plaster, they do everything with me. And the doctor tell me I'll never walk again. I had a doctor named Dr. Wedderburn, and he used to come to the home and used to come upstairs and see me in bed and tell me that, Mr. Chambers, you'll never walk again. And I tell him, one day he said to me, you're going to get me a wheelchair. And I said, no, doc, don't bother with that wheelchair thing yet. Because I'm praying and I have my brethren them, that I was in the Pentecostal church then. And my brethren, they used to come around and pray with me, and And there was an old deacon in the church those years, an old deacon named Deacon Spence, and one named Deacon Cameron. And they, when the doctor come there and tell me he's going to give me a wheelchair, I said, Doc, don't bother with the wheelchair. And this little deacon named Deacon Spence said to me, Brother Chambers, you don't worry about the wheelchair. The doctor tell you anything. And that little deacon lay a hand on me and pray for me the day. And these stories seem hard, but you got to believe them. Yeah. And when he prayed for me, and one day, and when the doctor gone, and one day when the doctor come, I was downstairs, and he said to me, how did you come down here? And I tell him I come down here and he wouldn't believe me. And I said, yes, I come downstairs. And from that I gradually get on, you know what I mean, and doing things.
Yeah.
And the doctor couldn't believe it was me that turned on so much, you know. And he come back another day and those two men never leave me, you know.
Yeah.
And he come back another day and he see me. And the two men was here. And when he come back, he asked me, if I'm all right, and I tell him yes. And he said, all right, Mr. Chambers, and he turned to the two old men and he said, you go back in and start praying again. Oh God, that's a testimony. I tell you, I never forget those things. He said, you go back in and start praying again. Yeah. And he stopped coming because I could go and visit him at the surgery. Yeah.
So when he told you that you would never walk again, how did you feel?
Well, when you hear things like that, how do you feel? But I still had hope, you know, that I would walk again. Because, well, I still believe I would walk again. Because when I go down to see the health service doctor, that was one bad mistake I made. When I go down and see him, he sent me and when he examined me back, he sent me a letter and tell me that I'm 90-somewhat% disabled. And I threw up a letter and threw it away and so I'm going back to work. And that was the mistake I make. I didn't accept the disablement business because, you know, when you still feel you can do something, it's hard for somebody to tell you that I'm disabled and you will never work again, and I wouldn't accept that. And that was one of the bad mistakes I make. I should have accepted it because I didn't go back to work until today.
So you've been in Wolverhampton for how long now?
If I come here on 28 and I'm in Wolverhampton now, 40 years near, is it? Yeah. Come here on 28, I'm 68 now, so I'm in here 40 years now, yeah.
So looking back on your time in Wolverhampton, does anything in particular stand out to you? What you've achieved, what you've experienced?
Well, I haven't achieved much because of sickness. Well, the only thing I could say achieve and the only thing I'm glad for, what England do for me, I think it most for my children, not for me.
You don't think you've benefited at all?
Me? Oh no, I don't think so. I'm not complaining, but I don't think I'm benefited from coming here the time I did.
Why was that? Why would you say that?
Well, these things we don't have no control over. It might be if I didn't took sick so early, I would be benefit from something. But when you are in this country and you don't have a job, it's hard. It's hard. You can't survive. You got to have a job in England to make any headway. You either have to have a job or you got to go out stealing or you got to do something not right. And I couldn't afford to do anything that is not right. So I don't think I benefit much. If I did have a good working life till I retire, well, might be I'd have achieved something, but I didn't achieve none. Because when I come here, the wages was very low. Had I get to work until reach pension age, even a good pension I would have. You see what I mean? But now, reaching up here now, I don't have a pension. I'm still on what they call it now, income support, because my pension is not, when you don't work in England, you don't have no pension to get. It's so hard. And as I said, the wife didn't work for a long time to get a pension, so even until now life is tough. Yeah. What I could say about the whole thing, I had it tough from the day I get here until now. Yeah.
Do you think your life would have been, okay, let's say much better if you'd have stayed in Jamaica?
Well, that's my feeling about it. I really feel that way. I feel that way. Because I didn't make a good start in Jamaica before I come. I didn't make a good start. Because when I come here, I had a home in Jamaica. I had my own land that I bought. I had my own home that I built out here. And that was... that's one part of the argument I don't like to talk about, because even the wife, we don't mention it. We don't talk about that part. Because to me, not that I'm complaining, but to me, if I did stay, what I started in Jamaica, if I hadn't pull it up and come out here to England, maybe, I gotta say maybe I would be a better man today.
What about your health?
Well, even the health, I mean, I come here now, I'm in health. As I said, I'm sick from 1976. Then 76, 80, 83, 84. I had some problem with my eyes and I go to the eye infirmary and they test my eyes and ask me if I ever have, because these things in there, nobody don't worry about them in Jamaica. Asked me if I ever have anybody in my family that was blind, and I said yes. And they asked me a lot of questions down there and they said yes and I said yes, and they let it know to me now that I had glaucoma. That's something you inherited from the generation coming down. My grandfather was blind by my mother's side, and I had 3 sisters that is totally blind now in Jamaica. One in America and 2 in Jamaica. Totally blind, and I'm in the process now, because this eye is completely blind and they tell me that I only have a little bit of vision in the left one. I was just telling a lady to down, they tell me not long, they said not to frighten me, but one morning I could just wake up and that's not there. So I could be completely, well, it's like, that's something that you can't do nothing about. I ain't blaming that on anybody. That's something you inherited, so I ain't blaming that on anybody. But I think the cold weather and everything here caused me with the arthritis in the spine. So you leave out a warm country and come here, and then you never start to prepare for these, you know. You didn't prepare, you didn't have enough warm clothes, you didn't come with enough warm clothes and I think that's what caused me arthritis. But thank God I'm still alive.
How would you say the health service in England compares to any health service in Jamaica?
No, it wouldn't compare to nothing. The health service in England is better than Jamaica. You could, well, I don't know what it is now, but the health service in England is you couldn't compare them with Jamaica. The health service in England is far better than in Jamaica. Because some treatment you can get here far. Everybody can get a bit of treatment here, whether you work or you don't work, or whether you have money or you don't have money. But you don't have that kind of health service in Jamaica. You got to have money to. Okay.
All right. Okay, just to wrap up, finally, can you look back at your time in Wolverhampton and tell me, what would you consider to be the most enjoyable or most important part of living in Wolverhampton? Well,
the most important and the most enjoyable part of my life since living in old warmth, and the sense I get saved in the Pentecostal church. Yeah. And before that, I was a heavy drinker. I was a heavy drinker. I used to. Well, my life before that was going out to work Monday to Friday, and still, from Friday night until Monday morning, come back, was drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, and then go back to work and come home and give the wife what I work and take out my part from a drink, and then that was it. That's just the kind of life I was living.
Yeah.
So the most enjoyable part of my life is since I get saved in the Pentecostal church, 1970. Yeah, things changes.
Yeah.
Changes for everybody. It changes for the wife. Because I don't come home and drunk anymore on Sundays and Saturday night. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What do you hope for yourself and for your family for the future then?
Well, I'm not hoping a lot for myself. I'm not hoping nothing for myself now. I only want to live but the few days I live here, I want to be happy and nice, quiet. Be a nice little old man. Don't give anybody any trouble. Okay. But for my family, I hope well, as I said, my family started out good. And I hope they keep on like that, and don't get themselves mixed up in any. There's too much bad things going on now. And that's one thing I like my family. I like it for my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren to keep the family going in this way, Don't get mixed up in certain things that going on now, because there's a lot of bad things going on now, and I would like my family to stay clear of things like those. Like drugs and things like prostitution, and well, you got so much things now going on in town that I would like my family to keep clear of things like those. Not even, as I said, not for my children, but for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. I would like the family to stick to that pattern of life, to grow up the children in the fear of God and tell them what is right from what is wrong, and certain things they don't get mixed up in.